There is a time to taunt. No matter when you choose to, though, it's a game of risk-reward. You can look really cool, but it can also blow up in your face. And today I want to talk about when taunting goes bad.
Sort of feel like you're about to taunt me.
Yeah, are you betting that we can't kick your ass? Because
You guys have known me long enough to know I don't have the confidence to taunt someone.
say what you want to say, man.
That's why there was that big build-up.
And that's why there are performance reviews. This is a situation where taunting broke bad. Tyrique Stevenson, who is the one person whose hand is touching the ball right here. Y'all might have seen a clip of him. A fan in attendance to the Bears-Commanders game filmed him jawing with fans yelling at the crowd, all while the receivers sprinted up the field on what would ultimately be the game-winning Hail Mary for the Commanders. Fortunately for Tyrique, he had enough time because the Bears' three-man pass rush couldn't do shit, and Jayden Daniels ran around for about 13 seconds before heaving the ball down here. So Stevenson was able to get into position. Was it the right position? TBD. But he got his hand on the ball. Mm-hmm. Instead of the ball going down, it went up and back and into the hands of Noah Brown, who scored the game-winning touchdown. Did his taunting cause him to have this fuck up?
He did his job, right? He got hand on ball.
Yeah, it is probably pretty hard to get hand on ball in this situation.
The thing that's difficult about this is for the defense in moments like this, everyone has a designed role. Mm-hmm. You are supposed to box out particular players on the other team. You are supposed to be like leveled up in a way where people know, like, I'm boxing out, I'm the one jumping up to bat down the ball. What's 22 doing here?
Everybody's going for the ball.
Everyone is going for the ball. Maybe not 21. Maybe 21 was trying to do his job, and then every other Bear swarmed around him.
It almost looks like 21 is sort of like cheerleader style. Like, my job is to hoist.
So taunting in sports has always been a thing. Typically, though, I think we are familiar with taunting when the play has ended. It's a way to celebrate doing a good deed. Mutombo finger wagged after blocking a shot.
It would have been cooler if he did it before, though.
If
a guy's driving the lane and Dikembe Mutombo's like, don't do that, and then he blocks the shot.
One hand blocking, one hand wagging.
That's a lot cooler.
But there's a reason why he didn't do that, right? Like, that would have taken his head out of the game. It would have taken an appendage away from doing its job.
Yeah, because you sort of need the upper hand, right? You need to be like, I am the winner. I am the victor. Look at me. Be mean now.
And I guess that's what it makes it risk-reward, right? Where it's like, okay, but if you pull off the taunt before doing the thing and then you do the thing, infinitely cooler.
Yeah, if there's a risk-reward, then the payout, the odds get more favorable or it's like a bigger multiplier if you do your taunting with less certainty. So in this case, the player didn't know necessarily that the Bears were going to win the game, and indeed they didn't. He took a risk. If he had already deflected this ball, the Commanders don't finish the pass, the game ends, the Bears win, and then he taunts the crowd. It's like, okay, fine, but like you have nothing to lose here. It's not that impressive. And really, like, how often do Hail Marys, especially Hail Marys that actually get tipped by the defense, succeed? It was a pretty safe bet.
Right.
I would even argue it might be too safe a bet. Like, I might have said, if I were at that game and I saw him taunting the crowd, I'd be like, yeah, cool. You waited until it was only a Hail Mary would win the game to talk shit to the crowd. Like, do it in the second quarter.
Do it when you're losing.
Yeah, you'll see.
Like, it's the Michael Jordan quote. It's like, yeah, it's fine if you talk shit when you're up, but like, talk shit when it's even. Talk shit when you're down. That's when I know you're real.
I think what this reminds me of in like other most humiliating examples of taunting was the poor Wizards, Michael Ruffin.
Yeah.
I believe it was a regular season game, and just they're up, clock's winding down. Just tosses the ball up in a sort of, hooray, we win. There was a little bit of time left, and the other team caught it and shot a 3 and won the game.
I like that, too, because it is misjudging how much can happen in a short amount of time, just like this. but it's also misjudging his own throwing ability. He's like, if I throw this ball straight up to the rafters, it'll be up there for what, 7, 8 seconds? And then the ball comes down and you're like, shit, I'm not as strong as I thought I was.
Right. This, I don't know, this will go up forever, right?
Yeah.
The Ruffin story reminds me of, I think it was 49ers versus Bengals, I want to say. A team had the ball with 6 seconds left, 4th down, around their own 30. And instead of punting, they said, we'll just call a running play. I'm sure that'll run the clock out.
What are we going to do, drop the ball?
49ers tackle him with 2 seconds left on the clock. Joe Montana finds Jerry Rice for a touchdown to win the game 1 play later.
Yeah, so same deal. That's like, I think that I can waste this time through athletic prowess. That's, I can throw the ball up in the air and it'll be up there a long time and the game will end. And that's, I can run around until the game's over. Nope. I guess that if this were that, he tips the ball, the ball's hurtling through the air, and then while the ball's in the air, he's like, well, that did it. Woo! Fuck you guys. I'm taunting you. And then the ball comes down in someone's hands.
Right.
So it could have been worse for him.
You know what? I think it could have been worse.
Like, how mindful do you think he was of the taunting he had just done in the seconds leading up to this? I am very curious if we are seeing him touch the ball because he was thinking, I just did something stupid and I see a clear way to make up for that. And so instead of doing my role of boxing somebody out, I'm going to be the jumper. And that's why 31, who's in good position here, has no ball to bat down. The inverse of this, where taunting goes really well for you, you taunt in the moment and you succeed. Usain Bolt celebrating before crossing the finish line on a world record sprint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And costing himself, you know,
Right.
a couple hundredths of a second or whatever.
That makes it so much cooler.
Yeah.
That then people can like shake their heads and be like, and he should have just run it out.
Yeah.
Like that,
Right.
That's, yeah.
So that's if he like picked this.
Well, no, because even picking, if you get an interception, that's really not doing your job because an interception can lead to you fumbling it. Like, I think this goes back to your point of like the perfect outcome of a play like this does not really warrant taunting.
Now I'm trying to think of the true inverse. Noah Brown, before the play begins, Commanders are losing. He takes his helmet off, gets down on the field, and just sobs at the game that his team has lost. And then they snap the ball. He gets up. He's like, you know what? I'll go out there and run the Hail Mary play, and then catches the game-winning touchdown. That's the true inverse, is if you like mourn defeat.
The reverse of taunting being mourning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it would have been even cooler if Usain Bolt did that, is what I'm saying. If he, a couple meters into a 100-yard sprint, was like, well, what's the point?
He's already checking his watch to see his split time.
You guys got this one. And then he's like, you know what? And he runs and he catches up and wins.
Right. Bolt throughout his career, I think even if he didn't taunt in the classic sense, every race he won felt like taunting because of how good he was. Tyrique, I'm sorry to compare you to, like, here's what you should have done. It's like, no.
We do have a meme for this.
Mm.
Like, there is a cultural representation of this phenomenon in Nick Young celebrating with his back turned to the three-pointer as it rattles out. Not quite as devastating a moment. Didn't lose him the game, but like...
But I would argue it's become more devastating because of its life outside of...
Yeah. Honestly, this guy is lucky that the best depiction capturing the entire moment was just someone's cell phone, because Nick Young got caught in a perfectly angled replay that lent itself to gifing, on national television. Like,
to your point about like, well, it didn't cost them the game. No one thinks about the game.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that is like one of a couple gifts that are like, what is Nick Young's career? Could have been worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's lucky even.
Right. Let's celebrate Tyrique. Yeah, I mean, I think taunting's just cool in general.
Yeah, you know, even in an embarrassing outcome,
Yeah.
it's still kind of cool.
It's human.
And I think the earlier you do it, the cooler it is. So I'm going to say right now, I am going to hit a walk-off home run to win the 2058 World Series.
Hell yeah, dude.
I once again was afraid the taunting was going to turn on me.
Well, maybe you're the pitcher. You don't know.
Oh, wow.
Clara, we got to work on this.
Hey, thanks for watching this episode of our new show, Reframe. All these names you're seeing on screen right now are people who subscribe to Secret Base's Patreon, which means they got to see some early unpublished versions of this new show and, so much other stuff that you won't find on YouTube. Why don't you join them?